What's up, YouTube? It's the quintessential tuber here, and this video is about introvert problems. Intro. Okay, so I have a couple subjects that I want to discuss for introvert problems, and the first one is explaining that it does not mean that you never talk. So a lot of times when you say that you're an introvert, people think that it means that you never talk or that you do not have any friends. That is quite the contrary. Introverts do have friends, they just have a small amount of friends, and they do talk, just not as much as extroverts. So when someone says that they are an introvert, it doesn't mean that they're very talkative. It doesn't mean that they're not very talkative. And it does not mean that they do not have friends. It's just on a smaller scale than an extrovert. Next, regretting that you ever even spoke sometimes. I don't know if the rest of you introverts out there feel this way, but I certainly sometimes regret that I even speak. Sometimes I feel quite upset that I even spoke at all. And it's not necessarily about what I said or to whom I was talking. It's just my introverted nature sometimes make me regret that I spoke. Sometimes I feel that way, sometimes I don't. And I'm getting to the point where I'm getting more comfortable with not letting those feelings get the better of me. So maybe some others out there have that same problem, but next, coming up with the exact answer for a question hours, sometimes days after a conversation. This is a crazy introvert problem. I know sometimes I talk to people and at the moment I think I had the best answer, or sometimes I know I didn't have the best answer, and then later on that day or maybe a couple days later, something comes to my mind that I think was better, something that I could have said better in that conversation, and I'll text that person or call that person, or next time I see that person I talk to them and say, hey, you remember that conversation we was having? Well, you know what? This is what I really wanted to say. Or, I think this says it better. And it's crazy because the people don't even remember the conversation. Or they think you're crazy because you're like, you still tripping off of that conversation? That's a big introvert problem. I get that all the time. So that's something that I'm trying to work on, and I don't know. That's really ridiculous. I even think it's crazy. And I'm an introvert and I have that problem. So that's a crazy one. And next, and excuse my notes, but my notes are quite long. So I chose not to memorize it. I just wanted to, pull out my little piece of paper and, go over my notes. So excuse it. Forcing myself to make eye contact during a conversation. I've always had this problem since I was young, making eye contact with people. To some people, it's nothing. You just look them dead in the eyes when you talk to them. To me, I think, one, eye contact requires a level of intimacy with that person. And two, my brain is analyzing facial expressions and body language. So when I make eye contact with someone and I'm talking to them, my brain is analyzing all of that, not to mention what you're saying and how you're saying it. So that's a lot of brain energy that has to be used just for a simple conversation, and as the title says, introvert problems. So for this to be less of a problem for me, what I'll do is I'll turn my head away and look down, and I'll let my ear point to the direction where the person is talking. So all I have to analyze is what they're saying and how they're saying it, instead of trying to analyze their facial expressions and their body language. It's ridiculous, but I think I'm not the only introvert in the world that goes through this. And sometimes people think that you're shy, you're scared, or you're timid because you won't look at people in the eye, and it's not that. It's just it's a lot. It's your brain is just analyzing these things, and you really don't want to analyze it. You know, sometimes I could turn that switch off. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I don't even want to even know that a switch exists for that. I just don't want to deal with it. So these are just 4 things that I like to mention, introvert problems. So if you would like to make a comment about these, I'll be happy to reply. So you can leave your comments in the comment section below. Of course, you all know. So introvert problems, like everybody says on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching my video.